Hello, friends. It's Giuliano. I'm here to share with you some Bitcoin price charts. Also, we got a request for Epic Cash, so we're going to take a look at some Epic Cash price charts and a few others. And yeah, so let's get right into it. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to share the screen and look at Bitcoin weekly and daily mainly, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so this weekly price chart, big question is, what kind of momentum are we going to get? Is it going to flip into a more bullish momentum, continuing higher? Or yeah, are we getting rejected at this 200 moving average? It's going to be important to see this week and next week how the candles close. You might even get a close above the 200-week moving average and slowly break back down over the next week or two, whatever. And then we'll see what happens from there. Is there going to be a harder dump coming in back towards these lows before a reaction higher? And even then, what does it all look like? So the reason that I'm considering that is because, yeah, maybe even on the RSI, what ends up happening is the price breaks down and you're falling down, and you might even get into an oversold position, but you make a higher low, right? Whereas, let's say, for example, the price itself makes a lower low. So in that case, you can start getting some divergence bullishly, and then from there, get some sort of 50% move or whatever to the upside. So yeah, there's, just because we're so close to a bullish cross on the MACD, but it can still have a little more negative momentum before getting a rush of positive momentum. So the reason that the reason that I'm considering this thought experiment is because we have been getting rejected around that 200-week moving average above. Okay, fine. And now we have closed above it in the previous week candle of the 25th July. Now we are into August. And this candle, like I said, it could mess around above the 200-week moving average. It could even close above the 200-week average, but it'll be the next candle which will determine a lot. Is that going to continue higher, or is it going to drop down back below? In which case, this would be dangerously deviating above to only push back down below. And in that case, where would it be? On the other side of this downtrending line, maybe around here. And then, yeah, and then create these momentum relationships. That's possible. Okay, I just don't want to avoid that thinking. I do see that as a possibility. Of course, as long as it remains above the 200-week moving average over the next week or two, that leaves a stronger indication that it could push higher first before coming back down potentially. So yeah, there you go on the BTC. Now, if we look at it from a daily chart perspective, you start to see this level of resistance, which the downtrend was playing, that price energy. You could see it here, but broke above it. Now this Ichimoku cloud is in the way here. Between the 200-week moving average, the longer term downtrend. Okay, and so you've got this whole Ichimoku cloud here, which is providing, you see, this kind of resistance energy to the price action. So is the price going to just come back down towards this level here and hang out? Is it going to, so is it just going to come down to here? Is it going to push into the cloud? at some point from wherever. That's possible too. And then from inside the cloud, is it just going to break down, or is it going to hang out here and push higher into the end of August? You know, September is right here in this vertical right here. So here is the time frame for August. So let's see what happens. Either we're going to pump higher in August up to these levels, or we look like we're going to break down. I do see a potential for breakdown for August and then move higher within the fall. And that's totally cool. That's fine. And it could be slow and grinding, or there could be significant dump. I get the sense slow and grinding could be okay here. But where does it end up? Again, does it take the whole month and by the end of August you're down in like the 18,000s or something? I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to just sound bearish, but I wanted to balance the bullish case. As long as it remains above these kinds of levels here, I think that it's solid to like push into the cloud and play around here during August. Otherwise, yeah, you might even get a smaller push again into the cloud and then just dump down. Whatever, we'll see. This is a daily price chart, so this tells us a lot for this shortcoming, you know, month for sure. These pathways are reasonable, totally reasonable. The bigger question is, are we getting above here and going to the next level? So yeah, let's see what happens. This will be fun. I'll just get rid of that. And that was BTC on the daily. I don't have much else to say. Maybe make a move down to the lower end of the Bollinger Band. That's about it. That would still be decent, but I mean, you're pretty weak down there. Okay, I think that's all. So here's that picture again on the weekly. And actually, we will look at the monthly since we did close a month. So there it is, just above the 200 week, but there is room to play. Monthly, yeah, monthly, wow, we're going to be coming up against that Ichimoku cloud by the spring of 2023. So that'll be interesting to see. Currently hanging around that lower end of the Bollinger Band. So sideways and down on the monthly is totally reasonable. And you might not even make it below 20,000, you know, for the month of August. This will be fun and interesting to watch. So keep an eye on the charts, keep an eye on this channel for more with Bitcoin. And if you have any requests for other things, then drop them in the comments, because, okay, so that's the monthly. I could totally see it hanging around here. We are going to look at, yeah, you could also see the price move a bit higher and then come back down, but cool. Reasonable. Yeah, still a lot of negative momentum on the MACD for the monthly. So yeah, stay down there. It's reasonable. The weekly stuff, maybe it just continues with further negative momentum. Oh, and what I wanted to show, yeah, this monthly lowest levels that it's been. Oof, it's at like 44, 45, 44. So if you keep going lower than that, that's going to be quite wild to see over time what this price action will mean. Now, on the other thing I actually wanted to show was on the daily, that there has been on the daily quite a decent amount of positive momentum since June of 2022, the end of June. There was a bullish cross there, and that's been positive momentum the whole time. So You know, is it going to wane and go into negative momentum on the daily? That was also part of the reason why I'm getting a sense that it could just turn around and drop back down to these levels or lower and see what kind, you know, the momentum. So that's definitely something that to take into consideration as well. Okay. And then, yeah, that was it. All right. So we're done for now with BTC. It'll be interesting to watch over the next weeks and months. So stick around for that. Okay, we're also going to take a look at Epic Cash. So here it is on the weekly. All right, I don't have many tools here that I can find, so whatever. We'll just work with what we got. I also have the all-time chart from CoinGecko. But considering here, it's looking weak-ish. Rejection, you know, above, like deviation above the 20-week moving average, and now below. Prices kind of pushing below these kinds of levels here. So that's weaker, not able to get back above these kinds of levels and hold. Potential move to the lower end of the Bollinger Bands, and that would be a hope for support. And we'll see on the all-time chart that is yeah, that is not the greatest, but it's not horrible either. I want to show also the daily, because you can get a chance to see the Ichimoku resistance, the 200-day resistance. So on that sense, you know, resistance by the 200-day, yeah, you're getting below the 55-day, lower end of the Bollinger Band, broken below this Ichimoku cloud. It's a tough place to be. You know, you're at the lower end of this price action here. It's and then in terms of downtrend, I think you've broken out of this downtrend here, okay, to the upside, but there could be some retesting down here, which is fine. That's not the end of the world. As part of a longer accumulation, that would be the ideal. But yeah, there's a chance for that. And that brings you down to like the 25, 23, 4, whatever, 100 level. Yeah, but you'd rather not go much below that. If you can keep holding these higher lows here, then you're really solid. But that would mean needing to push above this and through this Ichimoku cloud. So we'll see if that can happen. But this gets the sense of a bearish formation where it'll dump down and lower. That's scary though. Yeah, because in terms of the longer trend, yeah, it's broken. But this now newer trend forming from this high formation here, with this high here, yeah, well, when are you going to break that? So maybe it's rejection at that type of price energy level in conjunction with these horizontals, and you might not get there again for a little while. Yeah, we'll see. So when we look at Epic Cash on, let's stop that share and go to a different screen. Screen share it from this image. All right. We see that currently the price is here in this green zone level. Okay, so it's still above this kind of support level that you would want to hold, and even these kind of levels. It did break out of that longer term downtrend that we saw, but what's next? So that is a hope, but the more short-term downtrend, I don't know, are you going to break that soon? And then after that, it's if you don't hold this green boxy level, I mean, then you're coming down towards this kind of zone here, which is important levels as previous highs, very highs. So just, yeah, we're gonna see where that ends up. Okay, so that's your Epic Cash. on the all-time chart. It's pretty decent, but there's also a possibility to come back down to this blue zone here, which, or something like that, maybe up here in this level. But that would be a rough go. So I think overall it's looking good, as long as it really is, it holds above this type of price level here. But if it can hold above all of this here where it is, then incredible, you're in the zone. All right, so that's Epic Cash. Not much else to say about that. Okay, so then we're going to move on. Yeah, we're going to share again this one, and yeah, that's why you can see potentially, like on this Epic Cash chart, you can see it dumping back down to these levels, lower end of the Bollinger Band. That's totally reasonable. Okay, so then going back to the charts over here on the Aurochs terminal here, we'll use the Pirate Chain against BTC. And a similar vibe, you're kind of at this downtrending resistance, but you're not really breaking it super well. It's coinciding with this horizontal resistance zone. And so that's making it look weaker. Yeah, getting rejected and down for now. Will it be continued negative momentum? It wants to cross, but might not have the energy to do it. And then it's just continued negative momentum. So that's on the weekly for Pirate Chain. If we take a look at the daily, we have this again, this strong Ichimoku cloud energy resistance. You are now from the top back down to the bottom of the Bollinger Band, but yeah, you're at this Ichimoku cloud resistance energy. You've just been rejected after a decent push up. Yeah, so it's not in the favor at this time. You're getting rejected by the 200-day moving average. And yeah, who knows like how much continued negative momentum there needs to be. Maybe not much. Maybe maybe it is going to push higher and get out of this. But this is quite the resistance to just pay attention to and be aware of. And you're below these levels that you were trying to get above, but got rejected by. So it's tougher. You're in a weaker state at this time. And that's Pirate Chain on the daily. So what does that mean? Can this be more of an accumulation zone, or does was this some sort of redistribution? Now you're going to continue selling off further to lower zones. So there you go. That is a long-term chart. Pirate Chain. It's not the all-time chart, but it is significant. Like this is a much smaller mountain than this one, but it had its significance. And now this price action here doesn't look as promising at this current time. So we're going to see though what happens with Pirate Chain price chart against BTC. Keep an eye on this. All right. Oh, in terms of the monthly for the Pirate Chain, monthly for Pirate Chain, this kind of hurt over here. Yeah, we'll see how this holds up. You really need this zone to hold up, don't you? Okay, that's it for the pirate chain. And I think we're going to do maybe ADA and BNB. And maybe we'll get in another one. Okay, so with ADA on the weekly, just holding this level nicely. If you can keep it, that's great. Above the 220 week moving average, holding this horizontal level, solid. Could totally get continued positive momentum. Maybe there's something that's coming that's really exciting people, whatever. And so it gets rotated into and gets a nice push up. Maybe you get another, a little move that gives you another 20% or something. As we see, might need to be one candle or two, and you're up there a week or two. So then you can come back down and see what's next. Well, that's a good possibility on ADA. Let's see. On the daily price chart, you do have this 200-day moving average as a potential rejection. You've been challenging it since June. Above this Ichimoku cloud though. So that's why I think ADA can definitely make it to this next level here. And who knows what kind of a push it might get if it's going for one. And yeah, it can totally go for it. It can totally go for it. It has been in the positive momentum though. So if it doesn't do it soon, you're going to get squeezed here. You got the 20-day and the 200-day. So pop this above and you got some potential room to run, really. This would be your main resistance up here at the 26-ish level. And then from there, maybe even 3,000 is on your plate. Cool. That's the ADA price chart on the daily. And so that opportunity is there. And if we look at the monthly, monthly makes it less opportune. However, that would just take a candle, maybe you get a green candle up to the 20-month moving average. And what happens from there, who knows? Maybe it's a wick on the monthly, and then the candle closes like here at the 2,500 or wherever, and then it just continues down and consolidates down here. That's a total possibility. So for the ADA, because you are getting relatively positive momentum on the MACD, so maybe you get one that's relatively positive, a little thing. The momentum stuff is not the be all and end all, but it's totally a possibility to happen around here. Yeah, even reject at that 20-month moving average, totally within the cards, especially considering the price action on the weekly and how it's holding up, as well as on the daily, how it has a chance here better than most. It's above its Ichimoku cloud, above its 20-day, and could just pop above the 200 and make a run. Yeah, so ADA looking good. ADA looking good, all things considered. BNB looking like either it better go or it's in trouble, because it's at all-time highs. It has actually surpassed all-time highs. So maybe BNB has a go as well, along with ADA. It has surpassed intra-week all-time highs, okay? And now the question is, are you rejecting here and dumping down further, or is this your chance to make your new run to new all-time highs, blue skies, enjoy the air and the blue skies. And you've broken this triangulation structure here to the upside. You're at these horizontal levels. Why not? I don't see why not. You're in positive momentum. It can continue. And that's a beautiful thing right there. You're above your Ichimoku cloud and 200-week moving average. So when we go to the daily, what kind of things we see? We're above the Ichimoku cloud. This is the trend line to watch on the daily, this green one that we have in place here on the daily. And yeah, the horizontal level here, you really want to stay above that. So get in tight with that. Problem on the daily, oh, you're breaking below it. You might be turning around. Top of the Bollinger Bands, rejections, couple of days here if you're getting rejected and coming back down. We'll see what happens, but you know, that could mean a little bit of negativity here, especially because over time you're making less, you know, the momentum is going less high. So you're making some sort of, bearish divergence. All right, so that's a concern to consider based on the RSI bearish divergence, potential bearish divergence here. But really it's going to be this horizontal price action level. Like what are you doing around here over these coming days in relation to this trend line as well? You want to really get a strong move higher that takes to a decent level. That way this stuff can potentially be support if it has to come back down, you know, 75 or 80%. So there you are on the BNB. And when we take a look on the monthly, wow. So it got to the top from the bottom of the Bollinger Bands to the top in an expansion. It rode the top like a surfer here on the wave, like, oh my goodness. And then touches off the 20-week, you know, generally the energy of the 20-month moving average. And now you're pushing towards that top of the Bollinger Band again. So this is very interesting, very curious. And we had an arrow here because the question was, are you going to hit this bearish MACD cross? And the answer now is no. That's fascinating. Now, the question now is, though, really what kind of positive momentum can you carry? And how is that going to, like, what's the price going to do here? And are we in a big longer term topping formation for BNB? I mean, it kind of looks like it. You got this huge impulsive move up. You're kind of making some sort of topping formation, possibly for time. I mean, the other option is, wow, BNB is just this special monster chart against BTC. Imagine something like, that's crazy. Wow, I can't even imagine this, but it is showing it to us. So that's why I respect BNB price chart so much, because of how it looks against the BTC price chart and how it behaves. So that's phenomenal. But yeah, there's such a good chance of some bearish divergence coming here. With whatever price action we get, we're likely to get a well, we'll see. I mean, you're going to count it against these ones. So yeah, maybe no bearish divergence really. But all of this positive momentum, is it going to find this kind of momentum at a point? I think yes. So when is that going to be? I don't know. Let's watch how it pushes. But generally, on the time frames that we see, there is good potential. But on the lower time frames, you want to really make sure that that this stuff, you know, even this Ichimoku cloud and the triangulation that was happening, like those levels, they need to hold. Okay, so like the really end of it level, in my opinion, is if you're like start going below here, then you know you're already breaking down into this Ichimoku cloud. You're at these key levels of price action above this kind of strong horizontal zone. So yeah, there's your BNB. Awesome. Okay, I think we're going to stop there for now and pick it back up another time. All right, that's it for me. I hope this was helpful for you, enjoyable, and I'll pick you back up on the next one. Wishing you love, peace, and happiness. Goodbye.